Alrighty guys, as promised, we are going to continue with our LSPDFR installs. For this one, we are not really installing any mods, but we need to go ahead and change some INI settings. I'll let you know what you need to change just to make your game a little bit more crispier and a little bit more realistic and all of that. Alright, so you need to go ahead and open up your GTA 5 main directory. I don't have notes for this one. I actually deleted them by mistake, so we are going to go through it blindfolded. Hopefully I'm going to give you the good information on this, and of course I'm going to be using the same settings as you as well. All right, so for this one guys, let's go ahead and open up our GTA 5 main directory. We'll need to go ahead and go to plugins, LSPDFR, and we need to be here. So we are really modifying what we did in the last episode, where we installed ultimate backup, Compulite, stop the pad, and custom pullover as well. All right, I'll show you the information that you really need to know mostly. All right, so let's go ahead and start off with Compulite. Let's go ahead and open up the configuration settings for Compulite here, and I want to try and make this video as short as possible as well. Let me go ahead and expand this. So these are the configuration settings for Compulite. Over here guys, you can go ahead and change this to any key that you like. For me, I like to use Q, so I'm gonna go ahead and change mine to Q. And then over here, the modifier key to open Compulite is none. We don't really need to change anything there. And like I said, when we did open up the tablet while we were outside of the vehicle in the last video, when we're showcasing all of this stuff, I did let you know that you need to just press left control key plus number pad 0 to open up the tablet to do your charges and citations while you're outside of the vehicle. And then to give a citation to somebody, you need to go ahead and press your left control key plus page down, all right, on your keyboard. That will go ahead and demonstrate the motion of giving somebody their ticket, for example. All right, and then here, when you're using the controller, I think for this one guys, I'm gonna change mine to none, because whenever I'm using the control, sometimes you can have a mistake of pressing your D-pad right at the wrong time, and then we just open up the computer, which is not so realistic. So for me, I'm gonna go ahead and change this to none, just like that, and then keep it moving. We don't really need to know anything about opening up the tablet. We already know how to do that. Give citation buttons, pretty much the same thing over there. Here guys, you can go ahead and change the currency if you wanted to. It's in dollars right now, so I'll leave mine as it is. And then the waiting duration in hours until the court case has been has a result or an outcome, it is set to 48 hours. So this is like real time 48 hours. This will be, any case will be revealed. All right, is it actual hours or in-game hours? I think it's actual hours, if I'm not mistaken. All right, so here guys, whether the game will pause when you open up the computer, I like my game to be running, so I'm gonna change mine to no here. Enable the drainage transition edition. Just leave this one as yes, whatever. Enable code traffic. This one, we're gonna go ahead and leave it as yes, 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 yes over here. So if you made any changes here guys, I would like you to go to file and save, and I'm gonna go ahead and keep this for my future notes as well. So I'm gonna go back to file. Now I'm gonna go ahead and go to save as, and I would like to save this on my desktop. All right, I'm gonna save this to my desktop right here, and then I can go ahead and exit out of this one. So we are done with the Compulite if you made any changes on that. All right, let's just take a brief look at the custom pullover. I should have shown you guys some of this stuff in the last video, but you know, I'm gonna go ahead and get that information right now. Custom pullover, really what you really need to know the most is pretty much this one right here, the left control key plus R. I've never had anybody, you know, I've never really used this one, but you can go ahead and test it out and see what it does. you can actually choose a specific location. I think when you press enter, the vehicle is just gonna go ahead and move to that location or something like that, but I usually use this one right here just to make sure the person has pulled over correctly on the side of the road or something like that. All right, and then over here guys, you can go ahead and read. As much as I've never really used any of this myself, I think when you do this, you can go ahead and use your number pad to select a spot in which you want that person to pull over to. All right, so that's pretty much it here guys. So if you made any changes or whatever the case might be, just go ahead and go to file and save, and that's pretty much done with the Compulite. Next, let's go ahead and go to ultimate backup, because this one right here, stop the pad, is pretty long, so let's go ahead and do that one last. So for ultimate backup, let's go ahead and open this up. Like I said, to open up the menu is going to be B on your keyboard. All right, and the modifier key to the menu, just gonna go ahead and leave this one as none. To dismiss, for example, if you call in maybe like a SWAT team to arrive to your location, and then you do your crime scene and all of that, they're still gonna be there. After you have decided, you know what, you don't need them anymore, just press enter on your keyboard, and that's going to dismiss everybody that's not supposed to be there except your partner, if you do have a partner. All right, and then over here, the panic button, I don't really like to use the panic button. I find it very annoying. It's usually U here. The default is usually U, so you can go ahead and put a U there if you want, or any other key that you like, it doesn't matter. The keyboard shortcut for the group backup, I never really used any of this before. This one we're gonna go ahead and come back right into it when we do install a K9. I think we can explain it better that way when we're actually using something that corresponds with this right here. When you use the controller, we're gonna go ahead and leave this one as none. Panic button, none. The controller button for group backup, leave this one as none anyways. The button to interact with the K9, and of course, like I said, we're gonna go ahead and come back to this when we do install a K9. I think the explanation could be a little bit better. If yes, selection code 2. Everything else here guys, we can go ahead and leave it as yes. The radius detention area for player, let's go ahead and leave this one as it is right now. So this one guys is going to be one of your preferences as well. The spawning distance, for example, you call for backup, maybe you call it a code 2 backup for a traffic stop or something like that. How far do they spawn to come to you? All right, 100 is pretty a little bit, you know, doesn't work well for me. So for this one, I'm going to choose to put 60. I think 60 is reasonable. You don't have to wait too long for them to show up. So right now guys, the main purpose of actually doing this is to try and make our game a little bit more realistic and fun to play. All right, and then the severity of the group backup, code 2, leave it as it is. For this one guys, if you are injured, if an ambulance shows up, do you want them to give you some healing or something, like to heal you or something, or give you some health, or the fire department? I'll leave that one as yes. This will allow you to select the menu control key. I'll leave this one as yes. And this one, the stretcher part, we're gonna come back to this one when we do install a different stretcher. The current one doesn't work with this prop right here, so if we change it right now, I'm pretty sure you're not going to be getting a stretcher with your ambulance when they do show up or something like that. All right, and then here guys, I like to change this one to 0. I do not like to see a laser beam on my taser. Personally, I don't, but if you like yours to have a laser beam, you can go ahead and leave that one at 40. the preferred vehicle for police partner. I think here, guys, you can go ahead and add more vehicles if you wanted to. Just put a comma, the name of the vehicle, comma, the name of the vehicle, just like as you see right here. All right, I think that's pretty much it for this one. There's not really much for ultimate backup. If you are done with that, just go ahead and go to save. And of course, if you want to go ahead and save it to your desktop for future reference, just go ahead and go to save as and save it there. For me, this is too short. I can go through it real quick, but I am going to be saving the one for stop the pad, because this is a lot right here. All right, so now let's go ahead and open up the stop the pad one. Hopefully 10 minutes or so we should be done for this one. All right, so stop the pad here, guys. I like to use A, capital A for me, so you can go ahead and change this to whatever you want, but for me I like to use A. And this one we're gonna go ahead and leave it as it is, as a capital G, and then leave that one as it is. Shortcut key to grab. I've never really used any of this. Never really use any of this. I think here for this one, to key to booster player to boost player speed when sprinting for a few seconds is going to be enter. I think this one is like what is it on your controller? Is it X on the controller or something like that? It really doesn't matter, but you know the buttons that you press when you're trying to run fast. All right, like I said in the last video, guys, whenever you want to search anything, you want to search a pad, you want to search a dead body, you want to search a vehicle, you can shortcut that by using F10 instead of always opening up the stop the pad menu. And then this one right here, if you go ahead and press your, is it D8 or whatever the case might be here, it's gonna go ahead and show you the closest point, the closest police station in case you're transporting a prisoner or suspect or something, like transporting a suspect to jail. It's gonna go ahead and show you the nearest police station on that. All right, and then here press twice, so if whenever you are next to a pad, you can go ahead and press D-pad right twice, and that's gonna initiate a stop. Or you can go ahead and press A twice if you changed it over here. All right, if you change this key over here, now if you go ahead and press it twice, it's gonna go ahead and initiate a stop as well. All right, and then the controller button, controller menu, everything is the same there. The controller button to be used with the gunpowder to make the target. I'll leave this one as it is. This to quickly grab a pad. For this one, guys, you can go ahead and change it to none, because you can you can easily open up the backup menu if you didn't want to. All right, so for this I'll change mine to none there as well. All right, we don't want to do that. The button to tackle a player while chasing, I'll change this to none as well, because usually you can just tase them, they'll fall on the ground. You don't really need to be tackling anybody, but if you want to, you can put another button right here instead of B to do that for you. All right, you can go ahead and leave this one as it is. The shortcut button to pad down, that's F10, guys. This is F10, so leave this one as it is. All right, let's call it over here. The probability percentage from 0 to 100 of a pad going to resist resisted during player interaction. So this it's a preference thing over here, guys. It's a preference thing. The percentage in which they are going to resist. I mean, if you want to go ahead and make it a little bit more realistic here, guys, I'm just gonna go ahead and put maybe like 10. I don't know how often do people actually resist police, really. You know what, I'll put a 5 there. and then the probability percentage of the kid will attack you. So right now it's at 50%, which just means 50% of the time they will comply, 50% of the time they'll attack you, run away, and all of that. I don't really like it that much, so for me I'll put 30 right there. And then here, guys, if you notice, if you press A twice to stop the pad, or you press your D-pad right twice to stop the pad, there's usually a yellow marker to mark whoever has your attention. If you don't want that, you can put no here, but I'm just gonna go ahead and leave mine as yes. And then here, take control for all pads. For me, I like to take control of all pads in terms of searching, doing a police report, and all of that. If you change this to a no, whenever you do have for example a backup coming to help you out, whenever you do catch up with the suspects, they'll go ahead and take the suspects right there and there. You don't have a chance to pet them down, you don't have a chance to search them, or even maybe do like a breathalyzer test or drug swap or anything like that. So for me, I'm gonna leave this one as yes for me. You can go ahead and change that to a no if you wanted to. The probability that the pad has a gun permit, all right, so this 25% of the time they will have a gun permit as it stands. So your number should be between 0 and 100. I think if you want to make it really interesting, that whenever you find somebody without a gun permit, is because they actually don't have it, because you have made the percentage so high. So for me here, I don't know what the good number is for this one, but let me just go ahead and change it to at least 30%. All right, the probability that the pet has a hunting license, I think 75% is okay for this one. So for this one, it will be the weight in colors. All of them have to add up to 100. All right, all these three have to add up to 100. So right now it's set that you can find maybe like guns, like grenades, you can find like drugs. Right now it's set at 15%, so that means 15% of the time a person that you pet down will have things that are very much they don't really have to have on them, really, to be honest. And then at 30% are things like maybe powder, something like any substance that you might need to check out furthermore to see what it is. All right, and then here is the green stuff, good stuff, like maybe like your wallet, your phone, friendly things that people usually have. That's what it's set at. So you can go ahead and play around with this to whatever you want right there. I'll leave mine as it is, and this one will be the number of items in which you can find when you pet down a vehicle, or when you search a vehicle, or when you pet down a pad. So me, I would say I want the maximum of at least 4 there. All right, I think the maximum of 4 is okay for me. Maximum of 4 there is okay for me. The mama alcohol level. So for here, guys, you can go ahead and change which system you want to use, right? So right now it's set in an American system. If you want the British system, instead of 0.08, just write 35 right there. Australian, just write 0.05. And if you made any changes here, go ahead and make sure it corresponds with the units as well. So if you choose British, so make sure you put British right here. Just copy and paste this right here instead of percentage. Okay, so percentage is an American system, and then if it's an Australian, just go ahead, if you choose Australian over here, make sure you put this right here as well. All right, the chances that the pet will provide a valid breath sample, I usually have a hard time with this one, guys. I really do not like whenever I do a breathalyzer test or a drug swap, I always want to know whether this person is either the influence or not. So at 5% is really low. I'll put this one at 80% for me, but you can go ahead and change that to whatever you want, as long as it's between 0 and 100. To first was using the list of stuff the result. Yeah, you can leave this one as it is, it doesn't matter. The vehicles here, guys, the vehicle models for escort vehicles such as an Uber or a taxi. If you want a different vehicle, if you want to add a different vehicle for a taxi, just put a comma here and put the name of the vehicle just like you see right here. All right, so make sure it's the right name of the vehicle that's pretty much in game, and that goes for Uber models and Uber ride models and an ambulance. All right, so if you want a different vehicle to show up as an ambulance, you can go ahead and do that here as well. And then over here, guys, we can go ahead and come back to this when we do install a stretcher. And the spawning distance for escort vehicles, I'll change mine to 60 here. All right, I don't like them to spawn way too far. Okay, to mix up the pack, fix the edge, leave that one as a yes. This may force results to be displayed on the full screen. I don't like my results to be displayed on the full screen. I like them to pop up on top of my mini map, so I'm just gonna go ahead and put no right here. All right, for me it's gonna be a no right here. So the results, whenever I search a pad or a vehicle, the results are just gonna pop on top of the minimap, not cluttering the whole screen. All right, so that's to prevent that. And then over here, guys, you can go ahead and choose how fast your pad is gonna be. 3, you know what, I'll put mine at 8 right there. And then the intensity boost, let's just go ahead and put it, I don't know, if we make it, I don't want him to be too fast, you know, too slow either. So you can go ahead and play around with these settings here and see what works out best for you. Make the nearby dead pads don't get despawned easily. You can leave it on as yes, and the vehicles as well as yes. Enable traffic menu. So this one, I'ma change this one to a no. I'ma change this one to a no. That's to prevent other menus of popping up in the game. We're pretty much using stop the pad for everything else, right? All right, so you can go ahead and mark this one as no for now, and then you can go ahead and leave it as yes and go try it out in game and see how that works out for you. If you feel like you need to turn it off, you can go ahead and turn it off and set up the radius. Whenever you do stop traffic or slow down traffic, what is the radius in which it affects in the game? 60 is way too much, I can let you know that for sure. So for me, I'll try as low as either 15 or 10 is a good number right there. It doesn't affect a large radius, so I'll leave it at 15 right now. If I feel like it's too large, I'm probably gonna come back here, maybe put it to a 10 or even a 5 as well. All right, to determine the accuracy of the observation of the traffic stop, 95% of the time, whenever you do approach a vehicle, let's just say you have a traffic stop, you approach a vehicle, you could have a notification that the driver might be driving under the influence of alcohol or narcotics. So 90% of the time it gives you an accurate information so that it can investigate more. I can leave that one as yes if you wanted to, but that's up to you. The chance from 0 to 100 of intoxicated person to be able to pass the sobriety test, of course you want them to fail, so 5% is pretty good enough to determine the possibility from 0 to 100 of suspicious substance to be positive of contraband drugs. I don't know how you can feel about this one. 95%, it seems a little bit too harsh. Maybe let's try 85% at a time. That's up to you as well. For this one, I've never used before, so we can just go ahead and leave it as it is. For this one, enable stop the paid taser laser, which is a nope. I don't like to see the taser for this, so I'm just gonna go ahead and say no. I think this option was for ultimate backup as well. All right, Determine the possibility from 0 to 100 on weapons check to be unregistered. 10% of the time to be unregistered. I think that's okay. Determine the possibility of weapons to be stolen 20% of the time. You could play around with this one as well. Maybe let me change mine to at least 25%. All right. The list of weapons that you are going to have on your wheel. So these are the weapons right here. You can go ahead and type whatever you want here. Just put a comma, the name of the vehicle, and this is the suspicious substances that can be found on a person or a vehicle. These are what it is right here. If you have more, I guess you can go ahead and pretty much this one is good enough as a default like it is. Set this possibility from 0 to 100 of a pet being intoxicated, drunk, or under the influence. If you have traffic officer installed, this is getting not using traffic officer anymore. 12%, I think that's good enough, but you can always play around with that. Vehicle registration, probability for it to be expired. I guess that's pretty good right there. Vehicle, so whenever you find somebody, I think that gives a little bit more incentive, in which if you find somebody with an expired driver's license, or expired registration, you are more likely to give them a ticket, because it's unlikely to find them with that type of thing, or even like no registration at 5%. So that means every time that happens, you are more inclined to give him a ticket. And this one for insurance as well, pretty much the same thing. You can go ahead and leave it as it is if you wanted to. Driver refuse to exit probability. So this would be like if you put over somebody, the probability for them to refuse to step out of the vehicle if you ask them to. I think at 10% is pretty good. You can even, I think 10% is pretty good, but you can always play around with that to your liking. The probability percentage 0 to 100, the pulled over vehicle is going to resist. 8%. I think that's pretty good right there. You don't really have to have a hard time that much. A pulled over vehicle to attack a possibility. So this one is set at 40%, which is pretty high if you ask me. 40% of the time they will attack you. I guess I will make it the game a little bit more interesting. This one I'm gonna go ahead and leave it as it is. Whether to use a glow stick, I've never used a glow stick before, so you can go ahead and skip that. Whether you want to turn this one, you can go ahead and turn it off in game. I will show you where we do install weapons and some other traffic radars and stuff like that, so we will touch on this on a later time. All right. Set the weapon name. Of course, here guys, you can go ahead and name, put some more weapons here if you wanted to, but just make sure it's the right name and everything like that. We can go ahead and skip all of this. Set the ammunition here guys. If you want to go ahead and increase your ammunition, you can go ahead and do that. I think I'm gonna go ahead and put maybe like, I don't know, 60 here. And for my rifle, let me go ahead and put like 250. No, what the hell am I putting 554? For my shotgun, let me go ahead and put maybe like, I don't know, 55. All right. So here guys, you can go ahead and skip that, and this has to do with the calmness of the pad whenever you maybe discharge a firearm or something like that. Next up, the pad, the pad. Enable pad. You can change this to a no if you wanted to. This will determine how calm the people are and all that, but depends on how much you like chaos, really. For this one, it really doesn't affect the gangs. The gangs will always be gangs. Pause the driver. comments whether concerning on, you can leave it on as yes. Whether you want to come the pad on foot, we're gonna go ahead and leave the one as yes. Whether driving, yes. The calmness radius, I'll keep it at 100 right there, because you want as many people as calm as possible, especially if there's a shooting and all of that. You don't want too much chaos in game, but you can go ahead and play around with this as much as you want. When the shooting is happening, pads on foot, panic weapon discharge, no, I'll leave this one as it is really. For this, I might change this to maybe 40 seconds or so. All right, and this has to do with we're pretty much changing a few things here, guys. Let's just go ahead and go through it here. Whether the president transport backup is enabled, yes, you always want the president transport vehicle to come and show up. Whether the self president transporter is enabled, yes. You're gonna go ahead and leave the one as yes. The probability to use the default police T other than other, so 50% of the time it could be the actual police the president transport vehicle to come and pick up the person, or another unit. 50% of the time, depends on how you like this. I'll just leave mine at 50%, but I think I'm gonna come back and reduce it, because I like the police vehicles to show up instead for me. All right, additional vehicles, president transport, you can go ahead and so this will be for the sheriff department. If you have unmarked vehicles that you might want to add here, like FBI 1, FBI 2, you can always add that here. Just put a comma and say FBI 1, comma FBI 2, so these will serve as prisoner transports as well. All right, or even police 4. Police 4 is usually an unmarked unit as well, so you can go ahead and change that. So the probability of female officers for prisoner transport between 0 to 100, I'll make mine 50-50, that it's either males or females that will show up to the scene. I'll use 50-50 for me. Whether you want to use the nearest, sometimes it could be the nearest officers, just in case maybe you do use ultimate you call for backup. Those units that respond to your backup will be the ones to respond for a prisoner transport. All right, so here, guys, the spawning distance, like I said, I'm just gonna go ahead and keep pretty much for all my spawning distances to be at least 60 for everything. Under coroner vehicle here, we're gonna skip everything and just change the spawning distance. Over here for me, I'll just use 60, and then for the tour service as well, pretty much the same thing. We're just gonna go ahead and skip all the way to the spawning distance here. I'll just use 60 for everything for me. I'm probably gonna come back and change it if I feel like maybe it's too close or too far away. I'll see. And then here for the insurance vehicle as well, pretty much the same thing. Trying to make everything a little bit more uniform. The animal control service, pretty much the same thing at the bottom here. We're gonna go ahead and use 60 for that, and we have come to the conclusion of everything, guys. Hopefully this video is gonna go ahead and help you out a ton. So now you can go ahead and stop the pad properly and more effective without having too many menus popping up in your game and making it difficult to play your LSPDFR. So after this, guys, we are going to be installing police vehicles in the next video, and then after that we're gonna be installing possibly some callouts or something like that. We'll see how everything goes, but at this point in time, after you have done this, your LSPDFR should be running smooth. You should be the controls should be easy to use without having to run into too many conflicts. And yeah, that was the main purpose of this video. So guys, if you enjoyed this video, please drop a like on the video, and if you have any comments, please do comment down below as well. For now, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video when we install this videos.